Write the heading was derive an expression. Derive an expression.
Record.
I have recorded this.
No, it didn't come for us. That meeting recording.
Yeah.
It's recording. It's recording.
It is.
1 second, I'll recheck. It's recording. It's recording, right? Right, boys. Derive an expression for a torque acting on a body was till we complete angular momentum. This chapter might be a little bit tedious for you all. Just listen, boys. Derive an expression for the torque acting on a body. We'll start with this first. Now listen. Suppose you have a particle. Then I'll just use my own. Imagine you have an XY plane. Your monitor, your screen itself becomes an XY plane, right? Now let me consider a particle starting from the origin. It is moving along the XY in an XY plane along the direction OP, right? So your aim is to find an expression for a torque acting on a body. So let me consider an XY plane. So in this XY plane, an object starts from point O and it's moving along the path OP. So that at any instant of time, say t seconds, the object occupies the position P. Is that clear, boys? Right? Now, if there is no force acting on the object would try to move along this dotted lines.
Yes.
Boys, if there would have been no force acting on this body, the body tries to move along the dotted lines. Right? Now, say when the body reaches point P, a force is said to act on the body. Now, what does the force do? This force will make the object to rotate about an axis. Now, this axis is going to pass through the origin and will be perpendicular to the plane of the origin. Can you imagine what is the axis of rotation? What this will be the axis of rotation, right? The axis of rotation here. Sorry. One second. No, your axis of okay. The axis of rotation will pass through the origin and it will be perpendicular to this plane. That is what is axis of rotation. Can you, I don't know how far boys at home can imagine, your axis of rotation will be passing to the point O and will be perpendicular to the XY plane. Perpendicular to XY plane means perpendicular to the plane of your monitor. Right? So now what does this force make the particle to rotate about this axis. This force will make the particle to rotate about the axis. The axis of rotation is passing through the origin and perpendicular to the plane. Is that clear, boys? Now, the force which produces this rotating effect of the body, we call it as the torque. If there would have no force acting on the object would have moved along the dotted lines. The object would have continued to move along the straight line path. Since a force is going to act on the object is now tending to rotate about an axis, right? Now the force which is capable of rotating the body, we call it as a torque. Now how to find your torque? Draw this diagram, then I'll explain. First, make this angle theta. Fine. Now, before that, you should know what is torque. Torque, the magnitude of torque. Torque is a force which makes any body to rotate. That's it. You have to remember this way. Torque is a force which is going to twist or turn a body, or which brings in rotational motion in a body. Now, how do you measure your torque? Torque is equal to the magnitude of the force you apply and the perpendicular distance between the line of action of the force. One second. Between the line of action of the force and the axis of rotation. Please understand, you should understand the second statement. Your torque is nothing but a force which makes the body to rotate. Now, how do you measure torque? Torque is equal to force into the perpendicular distance between the line of action of force and the axis of rotation. Now, you should know which is your line of action of your force. Now, this is the direction of your force. Now, you extend the direction of your force, which denotes the extension of your force is called the line of action of the force. Can you identify, boys? Listen, completely mathematical concept, boys. Line, I'm talking about the line of action of the force. You know your force vector. You extend the direction of this force vector that denotes the line of action of the force. Now comes perpendicular distance. You have identified the line of action of force. Now, where is your axis of rotation, boys? Your axis of rotation is passing through the point. You have your axis of rotation here. Where? Axis of rotation, I don't know, is perpendicular to this plane and passing to the origin. Okay. This is your axis of rotation. This is your line of action. So, can you imagine this one? This is along XY plane. This is XY plane. This will be your Z axis. The rotation will be along the Z axis. So the axis of rotation is perpendicular to which plane? XY plane. The axis of rotation, the particle will rotate about this axis, passing through the origin and perpendicular to the XY plane. So this is the line of action. The line of action is lying in which plane, boys? The line of action. Your line of action is lying in which plane? I think I'm not able to. Boys, am I audible for students at home?
It's the XY plane.
Boys, can you understand what do you mean by line of action of force? Do you understand the line of action of force? So this is your force. This is your force vector. When you extend your what is happening? Is it for the entire other classes? No. I can. Okay. Boys, this is your line of action of the force. Now, your axis of rotation is perpendicular to XY plane. So, which means your line of action of force and the axis of rotation are perpendicular to each other. Your axis of rotation might be along Z axis. Are you clear, boys? Your axis of rotation, imagine which is your Z axis. You have X axis, you have Y axis. Your Z axis will be acting outward toward, right? Will be acting outward and perpendicular to the plane of your monitor. You're looking at the your monitor. Your monitor is your XY plane. Your axis of rotation will be along a direction which is perpendicular to your monitor. So you can imagine that is an axis which is approaching you. So the perpendicular distance between a line of line of action of the force and the axis of rotation. So in this case, this will be the perpendicular distance. ON becomes your perpendicular distance between the line of action of force and the axis of rotation. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Your axis of rotation, boys, please understand. The body is moving in the XY plane. Your axis of rotation is along Z axis. Your monitor, the computer monitor, what you are looking is your XY plane. Then the axis of rotation will be, your axis of rotation will be in a direction which is perpendicular to the monitor and will be pointing towards you. That will be your Z axis. So I have to find this perpendicular distance ON. Please start writing. Have you completed the diagram, boys? Make this angle theta. This angle theta. This also will be theta.
So ma'am, ON is along the Z axis.
Yeah, there is no boys, this one. The angle between F vector and R vector, you take it as theta. What's the angle between F vector and R vector? You take it as angle theta. So now, how will I define torque? Please write the statement because this comes as a 2-mark question. You need your diagram, 2 or 3 marks. You need only the second diagram. Then the statement. Then we'll go for deriving the torque. Consider a particle capable of rotation about XY plane about the origin O. Suppose the force vector makes an angle theta with the position vector R of the particle as shown in the figure.
Ma'am, isn't it phi in this case because you changed it?
They're asking, they can't hear. No, yeah. Wait,
Ma'am,
I don't know what's happening. Boys, any doubts? Can you hear?
Yes,
11B? Okay. No, because there is a problem in sharing on screen every time there is an issue, your audio goes off.
In the second paragraph, shouldn't the theta be changed to phi now? Because you.
Yeah, yes, boys. Second diagram. Wait 1 second. Let this angle be phi, otherwise it will be tough for you. This angle be theta. Okay. So now, what is?
And also, is ON coming from? Is ON along the Z axis?
Your axis of rotation will be perpendicular to the XY plane and
ON
passing the
along the Z
point O.
axis?
What is that?
Is ON along the z-axis?
No, ON is not along the z-axis. ON will be along your xy plane.
Got it.
One second, boys. Right? So I'll go for the next one. Now your aim is to find the torque. Torque is force into perpendicular distance between the line of action of force and the axis of rotation. So the perpendicular distance will be your ON. So how will you find ON? This angle is theta. This angle is theta. So in triangle OPN, was in triangle OPN, you find what is sine theta? In triangle OPN, you find what is sine theta. Ma'am is not here. Boys, can you put a message to your class teacher? Ten 20 103, right? 83 is your so tau is equal to r cross r vector cross f vector. Are they able to hear? You are able to hear, but the boys from the other end can hear. Have you completed, boys? Torque is equal to your force into r vector. So we have completed torque. Next, we'll go what we call it as momentum. Boys, you're studying about rotational motion as what momentum is for linear motion. As the same thing is your angular momentum for your rotational
How will
motion.
you take R like with what axis?
No, boys, it's r cross f vector. One second.
Yes,
There are different.
R,
Yeah. There are two ways of doing. Wait one second. Sorry, boys. There are two ways of solving this. One is if I is it happening for the entire class, boys? Each and every period?
No, we can hear you well.
No, not for you, boys. Here the screen is creating a problem. One second, boys. Your f vector can be resolved into two components, f sine theta and f cos theta. Now, right? Which component of your force
Ma'am,
is
can you record
capable
the
of
class,
making
please?
the particle to move along a circular path? Which I have resolved your force into two components, f sine theta and f cos theta. Which component of your force? Is it f sine theta or is it f cos theta which makes the body to rotate? Which one? Is it f cos theta?
F sine theta.
Which component is going to make? What about f cos theta? F cos theta is along the direction of the particle itself. Okay. What about f sine theta? F sine theta is making the particle to move along a circular path. Please understand, boys. Which component of the force is capable of rotating the particle, changing the path of the particle? It is F sine theta. F cos theta is not going to change the path of the particle. The particle still goes along the same straight line path. F sine theta is capable of rotating the particle. So that component gets added up to your torque. Your torque is due to the perpendicular component of your force. Was are you clear? Generally, how do you measure? How do you measure your torque? Look at this diagram. Your torque will be F into R. Your torque will be F into R because your torque is acting in a vertical direction. But in this diagram, your torque is making an angle theta with the R vector. Your R vector, your force is making an angle theta with your R vector. So your force has to be resolved into two components, F cos theta, F sin theta. Which component of your force is making the particle to rotate? F sin theta, not F cos theta, right?
Yes.
So in that case, how will I write your torque? I can write your torque tau is equal to, okay, tau will be equal to F sine, sorry, R into F sine theta. The sine component, R into F sine theta. Your vector will be R vector cross F vector.
Ma'am.
So I'll move on.
Torque
Once again, okay, fine. Now I can hear.
The first one is just magnitude, right? The first formula, R
Wait,
into F
wait,
sine
wait.
theta.
One second. There is an issue over here. Okay. Now tell me, boys, what is the doubt?
And is the first formula the R into F sine theta only for the magnitude?
Magnitude. It's the magnitude, boys. Vector
The
form is
second one is
R
for
cross
the
F
direction.
vector. Vector form.
Okay.
Right? Because your R is curling towards F. R vector, if you want to find the direction of your torque, your R should curl around your F. That is the reason. So A cross B, A vector cross B vector means your right, the fingers of your right hand will be stretched along R vector and it should curl along your F vector. Then the torque will be given by the direction of your thumb. That is why R vector cross F vector. Now we'll
Ma'am,
go
so
for
here it's the z-axis along which torque is.
the torque will be along Z. Yeah, yes, torque will be along. Can you see this diagram, boys? I don't know. Just can you see this diagram where a wheel is rotating? A wheel is rotating, right? You are applying a force. A string is attached to the wheel. Can you see the diagram? A string is attached to the wheel. You're applying a force on the string so that the string begins to rotate. So can you see the direction of the force? Yes, and that will be your from the axis of rotation. Your force is applied at a distance of r from the axis of rotation. Because can you just look at this? This is your direction of the force. This point will be. This is the point about which the wheel is rotating. Your axis of rotation is passing through that point. So your force is acting at a distance of r from the axis of rotation. In that case, your torque will be, see, your F vector and R vector are lying along XY plane, which means your torque will be perpendicular to that plane. Can you imagine your F vector? I think so. It's creating a lot. 1 second, boys. 1 second. There is a network issue. 1 second. Now, can you hear? First, can you hear? Still they can't.
Yes, ma'am. We can hear.
So please understand your F vector and R vector. Can you see the PowerPoint slide? No.
Yes,
Ma'am, we can.
PowerPoint slides.
Yes, ma'am.
So your R vector and F vector are lying along XY plane. Yes, boys. Boys, can you just see your R vector and F vector in this diagram? I'll just magnify. Can you see your F vector and R vector are perpendicular to each other and are lying on the plane which is considered, which is your monitor, the plane of your monitor? Your R vector and F vector are lying along the plane of your monitor. Your torque will be acting in a direction perpendicular to your plane of the monitor. Is that clear, boys? Next one is angular momentum. I don't know whether these boys are able to hear.
Yes, ma'am. We are able to.
Okay, fine. Can someone read what is angular momentum? Just read out. Angular momentum. See, what do you mean by linear momentum, boys? What do you mean by linear momentum? Suppose someone throws an object on you, the impact the moving object creates depends on the mass and its velocity. Boys, you know what linear momentum is? Nothing but m into v, that is mathematical expression. Now, what do you mean by linear momentum? Suppose someone throws an object on you, the impact of the object, moving object that creates on you depends upon how massive the object is, with what velocity is going to come and reach you. So that is what the tendency of any body, how much impact a moving object can create, we call it as momentum. Same way in rotational motion, the tendency of an object to keep rotating, we call it as angular momentum. It's just an analogy. So angular momentum is an important concept. Listen. Can hear?
No, ma'am.
No, they can't hear. Boys, you.
No, ma'am. We cannot hear.
Okay, one second. This class is going like this. Now can you hear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Today we're going to talk about momentum. And momentum means that if you have a certain amount of mass and it's moving forward in a certain direction, all right, then when it hits other things, you still need to have the equivalent amount of momentum when you're done. When something hits something else, the momentum before has to equal the momentum after. And it has to do with two things: how fast something's going and how much mass it is. The more massive and the faster things go, more momentum you have. So two of these little balls have more momentum than just one. So if I pull back two get knocked out. If I pull back three get knocked out. You can even do really crazy things like pull back 2, 4, 6, and 6 get knocked out. All right? So that's momentum. However much you start with is how much you end up with. So if I take a really big ball like this and knock it in, it knocks a bunch of them out. Okay? So that's basic momentum. This week we're going to talk about angular momentum, which is a little bit different, but it's kind of cool. And it has to do with momentum as it goes around in a circle. But the basic idea is still the same. If you start with a certain amount of angular momentum, you're going to have to end with the same amount of angular momentum. It's not going to go away. So this cool toy is going to demonstrate angular momentum. We have two big balls here, and they can slide in or be slide out. All right? And I can pull down when I pull on this. And so if I get this spinning, there's a certain amount of angular momentum associated with the weight of those balls, and it depends on how far they are from the middle, basically how fast they're going in their circle, right? And then how much mass they have, and they have a lot of mass. So if I take this little handle down here, I can pull down and slide the balls in, and they go a lot faster. Or I can let it spread back out again. So once again, if it's spinning along, and then we move the mass in, we have to have the same amount of momentum. So it's going to speed up. Why is that? That's because when they're far out here, they're moving along at a good clip, they have to keep that same momentum, angular momentum, when they're in closer. And to do that, it has to spin faster. We can apply our new knowledge of angular momentum to explain how ice skaters and dancers can spin really fast and also sort of not fall over, but helps them spin very fast. So I have weights on the ends of my arms here. I'm holding on to these, and if I put them out, I'm going to have a lot of angular momentum even if I'm moving slowly. All right? And then if I pull the weights in, I will have to speed up to keep the same amount of angular momentum. And then I'm dizzy. Time for some practical applications of angular momentum. I've got here a bicycle wheel. All right? And angular momentum helps you ride on a bicycle. If I spin this wheel up and get it going really fast, I now have angular momentum in this bicycle wheel because it's spinning around the entire wheel has angular momentum. And it so happens that if I try and turn the wheel a new way, it will fight against me. It won't let me turn it just a little bit. And it turns out that because it has all this momentum, it actually helps you stay upright when you turn your bicycle. And it keeps you from falling down once you get moving. And I can also use this to turn. So now I can use that angular momentum of the bicycle wheel to spin myself around when I'm on top of a little platform. If I turn the bicycle wheel, I start spinning. And then if I turn it straight, I stop. And I can spin back the other way, one way, and then spin back the other way. Well, anyway, I can spin one way really fast. This is Dr. Carlson orbiting my...
In all these cases, whether it is torque or whether it is angular momentum, you have to always compare this with your linear motion. So what the force is for linear motion, when the bodies undergo rotational motion, you have torque. Right? The force which creates a rotational motion, we generally term it as torque. Same way as in linear motion, the impact produced by a moving body is measured in terms of momentum. Similarly, all your rotating bodies will have some impact, and that is measured by your angular momentum. Now, how will you measure your angular momentum? Same way as your torque. Now, look at this. You consider a particle, say of mass m, moving with a velocity v, right? Now, it is rotating about an axis which is passing through the point O. So, you have a particle of mass m moving with a velocity v, rotating about an axis. So, this will be your axis of rotation. Fine. Now, the direction of the velocity is always tangential to the circle. The direction of motion, or this is motion. The direction of your velocity at any point in a circular path is always tangential to the circle at that point, which means momentum will also be in the same direction, right? Now, what is linear momentum? So the angular momentum. Angular momentum is the product of, how do you measure your angular momentum? It is nothing but the product of linear momentum and perpendicular distance between the axis of linear momentum from the axis of rotation. As what you had torque. Torque is equal to force into perpendicular distance between the line of action of force and the axis of rotation. Here your linear angular momentum will be your linear momentum into perpendicular distance between the direction of momentum and the axis of rotation. This angular momentum is. So till angular momentum.
That is the radius of the path, right?
Yes, boys. So till you complete your angular momentum, it will be slightly tough for this chapter. Once you come across your inertia, it will be better.